I want to teach you how you can scale your painting business to over $100,000 per month in the next 90 days. And you can do this all by yourself. Now, this is broken down into 3 steps. The first is your plan. The second is your sales and marketing. And then the third is your team and time. So let's break it down. Let's start with the plan. So how much is $100,000 per month? Now, this varies on the painting business and what your average job size is. So if you're doing a $10,000 average job size in your painting company, then you need to produce 10 jobs per month to hit 100,000. Now, if your average job size is $5,000 per month, then obviously you need to now produce 20 jobs per month. So how do you get 20 jobs per month? Now we need to work backwards and figure out our close rate and our lead slippage rate to figure out how many leads we need. So if we want to get 20 jobs per month and we have a 33% close rate, meaning we close 1/3 of the estimates that we do, so 1 in 3, then we need to do 20 times 3 or 60 estimates per month. And if we want to do 60 estimates and we have a 20% lead slippage rate, meaning 20% of the leads that we quote don't actually turn into estimates, then 60 times 1.2 is 72. So we need to get 72 leads per month in order to hit 100K in bookings. Now that you know how many leads you need to get per month, now you can at least start making a plan on what you need to do to hit that lead number. I recommend utilizing multiple sources, and if you're really in a budget constraint, you want to do things really affordably, then don't do Facebook ads, don't do Google ads, stick to the cheap, free, and easy things. Hit up your networking events, hit up BNI, get a door-to-door marketing team going, start putting out crazy door hangers. I'm talking 5,000 plus door hangers per month, and really start leaning on the commercial repaint work really hard. Start nurturing your relationship with property managers, realtors, builders, GCs, set up meetings with them, create a strategic partner or realtor brochure or property manager brochure, all of these little things that you can do to show the ideal strategic partner what you do, the before and after, so that you can maximize your chances of getting bids. The more output you do here, the more input you're actually going to end up getting. So in our marketing side, we want to keep on doing more and more marketing in all of these various channels that I just talked about until you start understanding how much output you're going to have to do in each channel in order to get the input, which is 1 lead, right? And then you need to do 72 times that output in order to get 72 leads. And you'll find once you set up those systems and start doing all of those things consistently every month, that the flywheel is going to start, and you're actually going to have to do less and less of it in order to get that same result. But we have the number, 72 leads. Now we have the actions that we need to do, which is several different marketing strategies in order to bring in those leads. And of course, scale that up, bring on team, hire some marketers, get people to help you, because one person doing this alone will just never get it done. You're going to run out of time, which brings us to the next, which is team and time. So we have our plan, we have our marketing, now we need our team and time. So how do you actually produce $100,000 per month? Well, this is going to come down to something called your production rate. So how many dollars of production does each painter produce on average for your company? So we're going to keep it really simple. Your production rate should kind of end up between $70 and $90 per hour, but just for brain math, just for mental math, we're going to say it's $100 an hour. So if your company is charging out on average $100 an hour, then to do $100,000 per month of production, you need to produce 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours times $100 is $100,000. So how does 1,000 hours break down? So 1,000 hours divided by 40 hours a week divided by 4.3 weeks per month is 5.8. That means you need 5.8 full-time painters in order to hit $100,000 per month in production. Now, if your production rate is only $80 per hour, you take $100,000 divided by 80, divided by 40, divided by 4.3, and now we're at 7.26 or 7.3. So we went from just below 7 to just above 7 full-time painters for the entire month in order to hit $100,000 of production. Now, how do you figure out your production rate or your charge rate? It's pretty simple, actually. What you do is take the last job that you did, take the total revenue of that number, say it's a $10,000 job, divided by how many hours got worked on site total. So if you had 3 painters working there for 3 days and each day was 8 hours, then you have 24, 24, and 24, which is 72 hours. And so if it's a $10,000 job, it took 72 hours, you take 10,000 divided by 72, and that gets you $138. So on that particular project, your charge rate or your production rate was $138 per hour. So that's a really high example, and that's what can happen if you just take one job in isolation. So what you want to do instead is take the last 10 jobs that you did, take the total production of what those 10 jobs were, and divide it by how many total hours of labor were needed to produce all of those jobs. And that is going to give you a better idea of what your current production rate is. Then you can take that production rate and extrapolate that to $100,000 per month to see how many labor hours you're going to need on average in order to produce $100,000 per month. Now, one thing that I hear a lot is that people are having trouble hiring qualified painters. They'll do an interview and then the painter won't show up, or the painter will say they have 10 years of experience and then they'll get to the job site and they don't even know what side of the brush to hold. So what do we do in that case? Well, how to prevent that is by doing a really good pre-qualification phone interview and a really good in-person behavioral-based interview plus reference checks. So the phone interview that you're going to do with the painter before their interview is going to be pretty quick, but you're going to ask them some simple questions about their job experience, about their history, about some technical aspects of painting, about why they're looking for a new job right now. Then you'll set up an in-person interview with them, and even if it's a sub crew that you're recruiting, you still want to bring them through the same process. The same process if you're hiring a 1099 crew or if you're hiring a W-2 employee. You want to do a pre-setup call, an in-person interview, and then a working interview to make sure that they're telling the truth about who they are and the skills that they have. Now, in the in-person interview, what you're going to be doing is a behavioral-based interview where you're going to ask questions about their past behavior and use that to make a judgment on what their future behavior is going to be. You want to ask them questions about their leadership, their tenacity, their attainment, their values, and some technical questions on painting so that they can prove to you that they have the skills that they purported to have. Now, the next step is doing a reference check. You must call at least one reference for every single painter. If you skip this step, you're going to get a bad painter on site. So what should you be asking this reference when you call them? Just some basic, simple questions, really. What was this person like to work with? Were they on time? Did you have any complaints? Would you hire them again? Why are they looking for a job now, right? Assuming all of that looks good, then you can move them to the next step, which is a working interview. So you're going to pay them for a full day and you're going to work with them for a full day to confirm the skills that they said they have. Now, through this day, ideally, you put them on a project where they can demonstrate a wide variety of their skills: brushing, rolling, caulking, prep, spraying, whatever tasks you're going to be having them do as an employee. You want to try to have a job that encapsulates a lot of those so that you can see how they work. Did they show up on time? Were they professional? How were they dressed? All of these things are really important when identifying an ideal painter, especially because for your business, you're trying to scale. You're not just trying to bring on one painter, but by this example, we're trying to bring on 7 to 8 painters. So we need autonomous painters who are good, who are reliable, and who are actually going to show up and do what they say they're going to do. So if you follow this plan, first make a plan, figure out how many leads, how many estimates, and how many jobs you need to book each month in order to hit your 100K per month or whatever your goal is. The second step is figure out how much marketing you need to do in order to actually get that many leads. Leads are actually pretty easy once you start doing these things. And then finally, production, figure out what your charge rate is to understand how many painters you're going to need on site to actually produce the amount of work that you want to do. I've seen a lot of clients over the years who are way overstaffed. They're only producing 30 or 40,000 a month and they have 6, 8, 10 painters on staff. So their labor bill is super, super high, which is cutting into their profit margins. If you follow this rule on 40 hours per painter of production rate, you should have the right amount of staff in order to maximize your profitability, stay really lean, and grow while still providing an incredible customer service. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, then hit up the link in the comments below and you can book a call with me or my team where we can do a free diagnosis on your business to see what your biggest hangup is and to see if there's anything that we or someone else can help with to help you scale, hit 100,000 per month or more. Currently, we just had a client hit $1 million per month. He's just crushing it. So to help you hit $100,000 per month shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'm Mike. Have a great day.